Okay, so when you hear the word health, what's the first thing that pops into your head? For most of us, it's, well, not being sick, right? No colds, no fevers. But what if I told you that's just a tiny, tiny piece of the puzzle? Today, we're going to unpack what it truly means to be healthy and why it might just be the most valuable treasure you could ever have. And it all begins with a story.
So, I want you to meet this 8th grader. His world has just been completely turned upside down. He's moved to a brand new city for school. We're talking a new place, new faces, a whole new environment. That's a huge change for anybody, let alone a young student.
And this huge change, well, it led to this really profound feeling of loneliness. Now, here's where things get really interesting. This emotional state, this feeling of being all alone, it didn't just stay cooped up in his mind. It actually started to show up in his body.
Let's just walk through what happened here. So first, the move. He has no friends yet, his parents are busy, and he feels completely isolated. So what does he do? He turns to his phone, right? He dives into social media trying to find some connection. But instead of helping, it just made him feel worse. And here's the real kicker. This led to actual physical symptoms, constant headaches, losing weight, not being able to sleep at night. His emotional world was directly and physically making him sick.
Okay, so let's press pause on this one story for a moment and zoom way, way out. Because this student's experience isn't happening in some kind of vacuum. To really get the big picture, imagine we're looking at a giant national health bulletin board, just covered with headlines and statistics about the whole country's well-being. And what you'd see on this board is that the exact same challenges he was facing, that loneliness, the effects of screen time, the physical symptoms, they're all part of a much larger nationwide pattern. These aren't just individual problems, they are collective ones.
First up, you see this staggering number. More than 100 million people in India are dealing with diabetes. Just let that sink in for a second. That is a massive public health challenge.
And right next to that, another stat. Nearly 29% of the country's population is obese, which, as we know, is linked to a whole bunch of other health issues, including diabetes and heart problems.
And this brings us right back to our student's story. Screen time. This makes the broader impact so clear. It's not just about feeling worse emotionally, it's being linked to dry eye disease in kids, to obesity, to sleep disorders, and to anxiety. The very thing he was using to try and cope is itself a widespread health concern.
And, it's not just about our personal habits. Even the very air we breathe is a huge factor. Air pollution has actually been declared a public health emergency, which just shows how deeply our environment is connected to our own personal health.
So, when you see all of this, from one student's personal story of loneliness all the way to national health emergencies, it forces you to ask a really fundamental question. What does it actually mean to be healthy? It's pretty clear it's about more than just dodging the flu.
I mean, let's really think about this for a second. Is your personal definition of health simply not being sick? If you wake up and you don't have a cough or a fever, does that automatically mean you're truly healthy? Well, the World Health Organization gives us a much more powerful and complete answer. They define health as a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, and not merely the absence of disease. It's a total game changer, right? It's not just about what's absent, like a sickness, but about what's present, that total state of well-being.
So let's just put these two views side by side. The old, kind of narrow view is just not sick. But this new, holistic view is all about thriving. It means having a body that feels good, a mind that's in a positive place, and relationships that are strong and supportive.
And this big idea isn't even new. This holistic view has incredibly deep roots. Ancient wisdom from Ayurveda has been teaching for centuries that true health is a delicate balance between our body, our mind, and our surroundings. It recognizes that all three are totally interconnected.
So now that we know what true health really is, the big question is, how do we get it? Let's put together a practical toolkit for wellness, one that can blend our modern understanding with these timeless principles.
A fantastic concept from Ayurveda that can help guide us is something called dinacharya. Now, it sounds a little fancy, but it just means having a daily routine. And that structure, that consistency, is such a powerful tool for maintaining that balance we were just talking about.
So what does this kind of routine look like? Here's a 5-step toolkit for that balanced life. Step 1, mindful eating. Focusing on fresh, wholesome food to fuel our bodies the right way, while maybe cutting back on some extra oil and sugar.
Step 2, daily movement. Keeping our bodies strong and our minds clear, whether that's with regular exercise or practices like yoga. Step 3 is so simple but so powerful. Hygiene. A basic thing like regular hand washing can actually slash infections by 50%. 4 is all about nurturing the mind, using things like meditation and mindfulness to find a little calm in the chaos. And finally, step 5, rest and recharge. Prioritizing restful sleep is non-negotiable. That's when our body and mind really get to recover.
You see, adopting this broader view of health isn't just a nice idea. It fundamentally changes how we live our lives and why we should value our well-being above pretty much everything else.
Because here's the real payoff. A person who is healthy in this complete sense, physically, mentally, and socially, is just more resilient. They can handle their work more efficiently, and maybe more importantly, they can cope way better when life throws those inevitable challenges and tough situations at them.
And this really sums it all up perfectly. True health stands on these 3 pillars: your physical health, your mental health, and your social well-being. They aren't separate things. They all support each other. You can't really truly have one without the others. So, we'll end by turning the question back to you. We started with a boy whose loneliness was making him physically sick. And it's a powerful reminder for all of us to reflect, in your own life, how do your emotions affect your health? Thinking about that, well, that might just be the first step toward finding your own ultimate treasure.